Welcome to the video today, everybody. I came across a software recently that I thought was really interesting. It's called wParallax. So, what this is it is a script that you can bring into Blender, 3ds Max, Lumion. Well, for the most part, Lumion. There are some sort of workarounds for Blender and Lumion. But basically, what it is, it allows you to have a flat plane that has the illusion of depth because the image on the plane will move depending on where the camera is. So this intro probably will be the same for both my Blender and Lumion videos, just because I just kind of wanted to go through this quickly. And at least for when I'm just showing you the website here, this shouldn't really change between the two softwares. But it's really interesting because it allows you to have a little more depth to your cutouts. So the caveat that I was kind of talking about is to use this script, you can't use GPU mode in Blender. And in Lumion, it won't work. The reason being is that you need a specific, it's called the open shader language, which you can't use with GPU, and Lumion doesn't support it. So that's why with 3ds Max, like Corona and that kind of thing, this works really well with no problems. But the problem that I ran into with those is that you can only have this cutout once because the camera has to calculate based on where the angle towards this plane. So if there's two planes, it doesn't know what to do. And I believe when I was doing that, they were just coming up black, like it wouldn't work. So in the free downloads that you can get, right here, it actually comes with this little kind of like cutout box that you can do some quick Photoshop stuff. It's very easy. I'm also going to show you how to do that in Photopea if you don't have Photoshop, because it is that simple. And yeah, so then you can put it on the cutout, and that's how we're going to use it in Blender for the GPU and also with Lumion. And because they're just cutouts, you can use them like multiple times. You're not going to get all that weird, those kind of like weird like angles where since there's two planes, it just won't work. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy the video. I'm just gonna quickly go to the intro, and then when we come back, we're gonna download this scene, and depending on which video you're watching, we're either gonna take it into Lumion or we're gonna get it working in Blender. So I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you learned something. All right, so I'm going to be doing the Lumion portion of this kind of little mini series on wParallax right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the download the free scene here. You come in here, you can put $1. If you think it's really cool, you can put more. You can go to purchase again. And then, so I have G-Miles, Luminous Labs here. You can, like, once you hit get, it'll send that to your email. You can view content. Now, I've already downloaded this just because I just did the Blender version of this. So I'm not going to do it again, but I will just kind of show you I have it. I just named it my Parallax 2 folder. So if you download it, extract it, you're going to have this folder here, WP Free Scene. So as you can see, Blender, Cinema 4D, EXR, FBX, Max, OLS, shaders, textures, all that other stuff. It also comes with the catalogs if you want to just kind of flip through it. Yeah, I think it's really cool. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to create new. Now, just for the purpose of this tutorial, actually, I'm not going to do the create new. I am going to do a scene like that you saw at the beginning of the video. I'm just going to open it up, and then I'm just going to kind of put the cutouts in there. I can share the scene with you if you want, because I don't think there's anything in there that I can't be sharing. So it is just a little scene I made in Lumion to make things a little bit nicer. So yeah, Lumion Parallax. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, I just, put some people in, that kind of stuff. And I will just delete the cutouts that I have in there for now. Oops. So delete that. Going to delete this one. This one. Should be good. And then I'll just save a copy of this. Okay, cool. And then yeah, I'll pop out of this. So as you can see, I just kind of threw like this little scene together. I used some of the background buildings from my previous tutorial, just so you can kind of get like a better idea of sort of how this works. Um, and as I mentioned in, I believe the opening is that so Lumion technically can't use these, but luckily the people making it had the foresight to actually include the textures and a box to kind of put everything on. So in all honesty, even if I had the choice of using how it's supposed to be used and using the boxes, I actually think the boxes are better for Lumion straight up. Like even if Lumion could handle it, because as I mentioned, you can only use those planes once with that kind of like calculation, and then if you try and duplicate it, it won't work. And if I'm doing Lumion, I may have like 200, 300, maybe 500 windows in an apartment unit or something like that. Because we are doing a huge one right now where we had a bunch of cutouts. But I kind of wish that um, we had wParallax at the beginning of that project, because we would have just used that. But doing this way, you can kind of adjust all the materials like you do in Lumion normally, and then you also have the ability to copy and paste them around. You can save the boxes in as just like a model. So again, it's like once you set this up once and you actually organize it in Lumion, you shouldn't have to do it again. And whenever you need it, you basically say like, okay, I need daytime cutouts, bang, there it is, storefront. So we can kind of jump into how that is done. So this was just for the previous tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you kind of what it looks like. Should be like, just get rid of that. So basically your EXR, so these are your textures. We can just take this one. We're going to drag this into Photoshop. And if you don't have Photoshop, don't worry about it. At the end of the video, there's going to be a Photopea, like just a quick explanation of how it's done. If you need to hop ahead there, you can see it. It's really, really simple. I just like to convert it to PNG just because Lumion can't accept the EXR files. So I'm just going to say that the alpha channel is transparency. I'm going to go to the mode. Now, something I wasn't really sure about is that I think Lumion normally uses 8 bits a channel, but it seems like when I was just bringing in the 32 bits like a channel, like it wasn't messing up the PNG. So I think the PNG is like collapsing it down. Maybe it just turns it into 8 bits a channel. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but if you just go in here and export as a PNG, it just works. Like there's nothing you really have to worry about. Just make sure you put .png at the end, because sometimes it doesn't always do the correct naming for you. So the other thing we're going to do is I'm just going to open up Blender quickly. Now you don't actually have to do this part because I will give you a download link for like the extended boxes that we're going to make. But the people that made wParallax actually allowed you to just download these this like little box that they made, which has like the faces going in the correct direction, so you get this you get the effect that you want. Just a quick kind of mention too is that the main facade in the Lumion file that I'm using, it actually comes with it. So as you can see, it's this, and then I kind of just added the Lumion assets in. But like I said, I can just provide you guys with the Lumion file if you want to mess around with it yourself. Yeah, but we go to FBX, bring in the box. Now, the reason why I wanted to open this in Blender, you don't actually have to do this. I just wanted to show you how it works. And Blender has a really nice face orientation. So basically they made it so that, I mean, I guess these wouldn't have to be red, but what we're really interested in is like if we go into edit mode and hit 3 to go into face mode. And if I hide this box, as you can see, everything that's blue here is going to be visible to the camera, whereas this will not be in Lumion. The red isn't. So your windows would kind of go like right here. And so that you're going to be able to see into the room, and then there won't be like it kind of won't break that immersion. But then as you're moving around, you can kind of see the room moving a bit. So yeah, that's really cool that they did that. We will come back to this though, because there is a little bit of scaling we have to do. But as I mentioned, if you don't have Blender and you don't want to get it, I'll put the boxes up on the drive so that you can just grab them, bring them into Lumion, and then I think the texture should basically be ready to go. So yeah, we're gonna go to import. We're gonna go to Parallax 2. We're gonna go to box. Now, again, we may need to just kind of like play around with it a little bit because it may be like too big for the scene, so you might have to like crush it down. that is not, it's something that like you just kind of have to do that based on the scene that you need. It's not too big of a deal. So I'm just going to pull that out a little bit. Then I'm going to go to materials, standard, free scene, EXR, 3K, and then here's the PNG that we made. We click that on, and then as long as the map scale is set to imported, everything should just kind of like come in. It's going to look weird just because the normal map's on, colorization, bring the gloss down. And then I'm also going to make it emissive. So you don't want to go too crazy with this if you're doing a nighttime scene, because I find that the viewport looks fine, but then you can kind of blow it out pretty fast. Like if I go into night mode here, as you can see, it is quite bright. So if you are doing a night scene, I do recommend you kind of go into this mode just to see it, because like I think that, like that would be pretty good. Then I'm going to bring this down a bit. Maybe I'll scale this down a bit. And I'll slide that in like kind of how it's supposed to be. Something like that. And we're just going to, like I said, we're just going to kind of figure out best way of setting this up. So I think something like that's good. We just need to pull it down a bit. Yeah, like that. Now, the other thing I would kind of say is like, I think when I set up that, I think when I was setting up the scene the first time, I actually put a little wall in there. But you kind of get the point. Like it's really not that bad how it looks. And for just being like a cutout, like I think it definitely functions in the way that it needs to. And as I said, you know, if you move side to side, if you put another box next to it, you won't get that weird like see-through effect. But it's pretty cool. So let's just do a couple more little examples, because I'm actually going to move this one up that I already did, just because I want to show you kind of how you do a like a bigger one. So I'll just move this one out of the way for now. Move that up. Hold X to lock it, and you know, whatever, close enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back into Blender. I'm going to hit SX2, and then I'm just going to bring that like that. And I'm going to go to Save As, Parallax, FBX. I'm going to call this WBox2, and we're going to save that. And I believe if we go like this. Now, I believe this is how I did it the first time. So I'm going to double check. And did I save this in the wrong place? So like I said, I want to make sure that this works, because when I did do it, I didn't run into any issues. But yeah, I don't want to lead people down the wrong path here. So do this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it like up here. I'm going to go back into daytime just so I can see what I'm doing for a second. Come in here. And before I do that, I need to make the second texture. So just close that out. I want one that says L here. So as you can see, so this says like S, S2, L, L, S, S. So we do want the L, because that's like the bigger one. So I think if we go like this, transparency, and then yeah, so this is like a wider unit. As you can see, everything here is kind of like squished, so we're gonna do it again. So export, we'll just call this .png. Go here, and I believe this is the one we wanted. And the other thing too is I'll mention that like if you don't like the mid, like kind of like the middle part of this here, you can remove it. In Blender, literally just go in and delete that face, and then it just won't appear. So, you know, if this is something you're going to use a lot, you can kind of mess around with that. But, you know, it's just kind of, it's kind of whatever. And I think I might have actually grabbed the daytime. Yeah, okay, so I grabbed the daytime one. So that's not what I want. So I am actually just going to go in here. I'm going to save that texture, but yeah, so as you can see, day and night. I want the nighttime because it'll make it so that like the lights are on. And I just find it has like a bit of a better look to it. .png, and go back into Lumion, and night. And so it really is as simple as that. We're just going to delete the normal map when it's in there. Get rid of that. Gloss, reflectivity. Turn the emissive down quite a bit. And then let's just check it out in rendered mode again. That's still a little bit strong. I think I'm going to bring that down a bit more. And that's kind of what I was talking about, where like if you don't like the curtains and stuff, you can just get rid of that one altogether. Just to kind of show a quick example of what I mean, like we can come in here, I'll click this, delete the face, and then I'm going to save this, export FBX, box 2, and maybe I should have called that something else, but it's not really that big of a deal. Go like that, and then let me pull this out a little bit, just so you can see better. And as you can see, all that kind of weird stuff is gone. This does look a little bit weird here, but as I said, in my opinion, that doesn't really matter. The fact that it doesn't look like it's just like a solid plane in Lumion, and you're just getting some different colors and lighting in there, it's more than enough for me. Like I think it's a really, really cool sort of little like setup that people have made with this. That's why I was so excited when I first saw it. Like I was like, damn. Yeah, I'm like that is actually more or less it. As you can see in the video in the beginning, I did kind of I did put them in all windows, and maybe I will actually just do one more because I want to light up this bottom one here. And I also want to mention that in this one I will just go back because I want to have everything for this one. So this one I am going to name something different, and I'm also going to go. So it's at scale of 2 right now, and I want it to be just a half, so I think I need point. Oh, oops. You want to do SX.75, and that way we have basically 150% when the box before we scaled it was 200%. So yeah, just go here, FBX, and we'll call this full. Photoshop, close it out, and then we're going to go to the retail night. I think this one is, yeah. So this one is technically a small one, but I found it worked best with the like the 150% size blocks along the x-axis. So export it. And yeah, like if you get all the textures in the package, as you can see, it is kind of annoying to go through and do this, but it's not that big of a deal. If you spent maybe a couple of hours, you could get all of them in there because you only really need to do like 5 or 6 boxes in Blender, and then besides that, it's just making materials in Lumion, and that really doesn't take too long. So if we go back into Lumion, I'm just going to throw that back into daytime for a sec. Import new model, box full. I think that's good enough, the size. So we'll go back in, standard, retail, night 3K. Get rid of that. Bring everything down, emissive up a little bit. Just drag it up. So we'll just kind of look at it at street level. How high up is this? Maybe scale it down a bit. There's no, this is one of those things, there's no right or wrong with this. It's just like, if you think something looks weird, just like play around with it a bit. I think it needs to come closer to the window, maybe. I kind of like it like that. I don't want to see that sort of like pillar right there. So I think that that's pretty good. Photo mode, yeah. And then, yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, it's just so cool. Even if it's not, it doesn't really make sense. Like, I don't know if there's like some weird art gallery or something. You just don't need that. Like, it's these, I would just kind of consider these like cutouts, as I said. Like, it's like a really nice pack of cutouts. So it's just going to give a little more variety and just save you a little bit of time. Like, if you're doing a streetscape, people aren't really going to care too much. I would imagine that, like, as long as this kind of just looks like it's like a bedroom up here, like maybe a kitchen over here, then that's good enough. And if you're doing a really big building, like you just don't have time to go and find like the perfect cutout a lot of the time. Like, so this is a really nice a really nice sort of middle ground, because in Lumion especially, you're going to be doing animations, doing a lot of like moving around shots, so you don't want to have to set up um, these like cutouts for every single thing. And like I think it looks pretty good. Something you can do as well is, this is a little bit weird, but if you wanted to kind of drop in a like a chair from Lumion, you could. But I'm just going to show you something that you do kind of run into a bit of a problem with this. It's that when you like render it, like sometimes the chair can look a little bit dark. This one's actually not that bad because it is quite lit up. But I found, at least, like, I think I put a chair up in one of the other units and it just looked like it was kind of dark. So this one, not too bad. If you want to make it look a little bit better, what I was going to say is, like, you could throw in a, like a spotlight here. The problem is that it might kind of mess with this a little bit. So if you kind of do like that and that, um, let's just see how that looks. This is probably going to make it look kind of blown out. Oh, that's actually not that bad, in all honesty. Like, I didn't test that before the video, so it's kind of a weird. It's in like weird positions here, but oh wow, what the hell? This goes up. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess around with that too much, but you kind of get the point. Like, having the actual, holy shit, I can't get that right at all. Yeah, something like that. So, having the actual oh fuck, that's what. All right, well, that's why I was running these issues. But regardless, like, having the actual spotlights in there along with the chairs, it kind of lets you just do a little more stuff with the scene. Um, Whereas like with those other cutouts, you can't add anything to it. But this is actually not that bad of an example. Like I said, like when I was doing it before, like it did not look the best. Like I kind of figured that it was like sort of like I was like, oh, okay, so you shouldn't really do it like that. But if we turn down the brightness a bit, maybe reduce the cone angle a bit. Uh, not gonna. I'm not gonna mess with that too much. But you shouldn't get light kind of coming out the side like that. But yeah, I just kind of want to show that part. Like, you can add stuff into it, so it lets you sort of like set the scene a little bit more. Because if you wanted, you can just basically keep the walls, the floor, and then throw Lumion materials in, and it looks pretty good. So this is something I think I will definitely be getting. I still have the free trial myself. But like I said, I can share this Lumion scene with you guys. I will remove the cutouts just because I don't think they'd want me. I don't think they'd want me sharing those. Which, so it is free. Just go download it from their Gumroad, and then everything I did in this video, it should be accessible. So yeah, it was a bit longer than I anticipated, but I did kind of want to go through and just sort of talk about a few of the things there. And I just want to say thank you very much for checking out this video. I do hope you learned something. I did spend a fair amount of time rendering out sort of like the scenes for this and sort of just learning how it all works, because I didn't want to, I guess I didn't really want, I just didn't want to get into it and kind of not have some answers for people, because I did do a bit of a deep dive into like the OLS and like why it works like that. Because at first I was just like, why can I not use my GPU to render in Blender? But like I said, even though Lumion can't technically use OLS, I think it actually works out better for Lumion in this case, because as I just showed you, you can put models inside of it. Yeah. So if you did learn something and you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. It's always a big boost to just sort of see people are subscribing to the channel and that they want to get more content from me. If you are subscribed, I just want to say thank you very much for supporting the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. So I will hopefully see you in the next one coming out this week. I've been playing around with doing the vertex animation trick in Lumion. It's weird, but it's something I really want to get a hang of, because I do think that for some models, not all, it is worth doing. And yeah, so that's kind of what I have on my schedule for this week. Hopefully I'll be able to get these videos and that one out. Yeah, if you want to hit the subscribe button and check it out, I'd appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody. Stay healthy. So a little bonus here. If you don't have Photoshop and you kind of wanted to just play around with this stuff, I am just going to include this part here. So there is kind of like a free photo editor online. It looks a lot like Photoshop. It functions a lot like Photoshop. It's it kind of has like some stripped down I guess like effects and like not as many bells and whistles, but it definitely gets the job done, especially for the stuff you have to do for Lumion, like making gloss masks and stuff like that. So go into the EXR folder inside of the WP free scene that we downloaded. And then this one, it just comes in as transparency. So I think that you're not going to get the same option as you did with Photoshop, but it doesn't matter because this is the option we wanted anyways. File, you can export as a PNG, and that looks good. Save it, and then there you go. You can then bring that into Blender, or like do whatever it is you need to do, Lumion, Blender, whatever. So we come back in like this. And then I believe that should be it. I'm not sure why that looks. Oh no, okay, so that did work. But yeah, so that's how you do it in Photopea. So if you, like I said, don't worry if you don't have Photoshop. And if you are using Blender, you could probably just bring the EXR directly in, but that's just not the kind of the workflow I was doing. But if it works, I don't think there's any harm there. So yeah.